Impact Wrestling, their next event is Turning Point. It will be Saturday, November 14th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on Impact Plus. And the men joining me now, if there were any group of wrestlers that have their fingers on the pulse of everything, it's this trio. And it is so good to hear from them again. Not only do two of them have that tag team title match challenging the North for those Impact World Tag Team titles, but for whatever reason, they're doing a sequel to the hashtag worst pay-per-view ever. Joining me now on the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline, it is the Good Brothers, the Big LG Doc Gallows, Machine Gun Karl Anderson, and the man that I think I wonder if he's like the voice of reason, a longtime friend of ours, Rocky Romero of TalknShop, the podcast. Fellas, it is good to hear your voices. How you doing?
Oh, man, it's great to be here. It's Turning Point season. It's Shop A Mania season. The boys got their fingers in everything like you just said, so thanks for having us on.
Man, it is.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's
hey.
always fun to get out and talk to everybody.
Well, listen.
Yeah, appreciate it, Stu. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and we mentioned off air, Rocky, you and I got to hang out quite a bit during the Wrestle Circus days here in Austin, so it's good to hear your voice as well. And I always love talking to you guys. We preached about last time we talked about how wrestling's supposed to be fun, and I think we're kindred spirits in that. So, let's first hit on the tag title match, Doc and Karl. Let's talk for a second. The North recently regained those tag titles from the Motor City Machine Guns. You guys have had a great rivalry with them. Doc, talk for a second about the rivalry. We talked before about how you discovered the North. What have you seen in them since you've been in Impact Wrestling?
Well, I mean, these are talented guys. We've been talking about it a lot here lately, especially in the past few days. But in-ring, pound for pound, Josh Alexander, you don't find one much better than that. He's a hard-hitting guy. We've both been in the ring with him. We both agree on it. And we've been in the ring with some of the best. And then you look at Ethan Page, and, I mean, that guy's got pretty much everything that you want in a professional wrestler. He's got a good look, great charisma. He's great on the stick. And I was in the ring with him this week on Impact Wrestling, hashtag Impact on Access TV, and the kid can go. The problem is you don't slap me in the face and not get your ass whooped, and that's what he did.
And, Karl, I know that this started with an attack on you, if I remember correctly, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. And like LG's right, man. You don't slap him in the face, because one time we were hammered. We were hammered in Japan, and he fell asleep at the table, and I slapped him. He stood up and slapped me back so hard that I went flying 11 feet. So Ethan Page learned the hard way there. But the North, man, like I have a match coming up on Impact on Access TV next week against Josh Alexander, and it's a singles match, and I consider it one of my favorite matches that I've had in the last 5 years, to be honest. And so people can get a chance to see what Josh Alexander is all about. The North I've been really impressed, man. And Turning Point, the tag team championships on the line, like it's just time for us to take the tag team championships and have won every single tag team championship in every big company going on right now.
That's
absolutely. I got to say this really quick.
Yeah.
I've watched Karl from the apron, from ringside, as a best friend for a long time. And I think this match that you're going to see coming up on Impact with Josh Alexander, you get the machine gun back. You can feel it. He's there. It's Karl Anderson. You saw all those big singles matches, all those G1s. Some of that stuff gets lost and got lost on us in New York because we weren't always the happiest. But a motivated machine gun is top of the line in this business. And I'm not just saying that because, obviously I'm privy to my tag team partner. It's the truth.
Well, and actually, seeing both of you motivated and to add to your already vaunted resume with the Impact tag team titles, on top of all the other tag team titles you've won in your stellar careers, that's going to be something else. And a motivated Good Brothers, that's a team that I think any team would be fearful to see across from them in the ring. Rocky, before we get to TalknShop Mania, I want to talk a moment about what you've been doing, NJPW World, the stuff that's been coming out of there, some absolute quality wrestling. Talk for a second about what you and Kevin have seen there, and just your overall reflection.
Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of, we just wrapped up G1 season. It was a hell of a season this year, like it is always. Some of the greatest wrestling that you get all year long. That really high standard of New Japan Pro Wrestling that I'm so proud to be a part of. And then on the commentary team between Kevin, Kelly, myself, and Chris Charlton, being able to do the last 3 days live with the fans and, all over the world, and especially here in North America and the United States, being so supportive. I mean, it's crazy that technology is the way that it is now, where we're able to do it from, the comfort of our homes, and being able to do it live is just incredible during all this. So I'm glad that we got to do it. And then, we're gearing up. Power Struggle November 7th would be the big one for us, and the next one where I'll be on commentary as well. You can check that on NJPWworld.com, as well as New Japan Strong each and every Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. It's I don't know if a lot of, I'm still trying to spread the word on that because a lot of people still don't know about it. It's the U.S. version of a weekly New Japan professional wrestling show. So it's a really cool experience to have that when a lot of new young talent making their names on New Japan Strong. And I love that show. I'm excited to be a part of it.
Absolutely. You've got a couple of our Texas kids there. I call him a kid, but he's been in business for a while. ACH from right here in the Austin area, as well as Barrett Brown, that has been on NJPW Strong, and yeah, Power Struggle. That's kind of the last stand before Wrestle Kingdom. So I'll be interested to see what happens out of that coming up November 7th on NJPW World. Okay, so I've got to find it. I gotta ask you, Doc. You decide to do the worst pay-per-view ever, and it was so bad that Fight TV and others decided, you know what, we need more. So we're gonna have TalknShop A Mania 2, The Rise of the Torturer. Is that correct?
We are going to have the rise of the torturer, my two partners, my two cohorts, my two confidants, Rocky Romero and Karl Anderson, were fighting me tooth and nail. And then we started seeing the social media chatter. We started seeing the response to TalknShop Mania, the hashtag worst pay-per-view ever. We started seeing a buy rate, and we were, baffled by this. And then, within a week or two, I'm getting phone calls from the pay-per-view companies because I was the one who pestered them to begin with, going, guys, we did a number. We can make money. Let's do another one. Now, I'm going to give you an exclusive here. The problem with that is once I relay the information, once I get the boys on board, once we start planning, we had to go bigger. We had to go better. We had to go badder, worse, hashtag worse than the first for TalknShop Mania 2. And we send Rocky Romero to Los Angeles, his homeland, where all his acting contacts, all his Hollywood contacts, all his comedian friends, all these Hollywood people, they get in his ear, and he spends more on his production, his Chico El Luchador versus Chavo Guerrero Lucha Libre shoot death match by making himself a copy version of the Matrix movie. He spends more money on this match than we spent on the entire first pay-per-view. And now we're going broke, so we need you to spend the $14.99 Friday, November 13th, 10 p.m. Eastern, worldwide pay-per-view, and again on iPay-per-view via the Fight app where you can pre-order now. I need this so we don't go under.
Please, for the love of God, don't make Doc go under. And I'm sure, Karl, you've got that same feeling. You've got that hot Asian wife and your family to take care of as well, so you're going to need a few dollars, right?
Well, when the first one, when he called us and said we got to run this thing, and I said, no, hell no way. Then we run it. We end up having a good time doing it. And then people actually really enjoyed it. Then he called like a week later and was like, all right, man, we're doing TalknShop Mania 2. And man, me and Rocky were like, nope. We almost ignored the situation, hoping he would just go away. Next thing you know, he's talked Rocky into it. Then Rocky and Gallows are hitting on me, and they're going, dude, it's time. We got to do it. I'm going, oh, my God, let's do this. Then we start getting our creative juices flying, and it's like, oh, man, this is some funny stuff, man. And I just watched the preview of TalknShop Mania 2, and 10 minutes in, I'm laughing. I start watching. As I'm watching it, I'm laughing so hard that I'm crying. I had to turn it off because I was spitting on the computer and like laughing, man. It's worse. It's worse than the first, but like in my mind, it's truthfully funnier. And at the end of the day, that's all that we truly care about doing is making people like laugh and smile and forget about everything that's going on, because it's just, even creating this thing, it helped me, forget about about reality of the world. And like, so just being able to do this for everybody and just entertain is that's what we like to do.
Absolutely. With what's been happening this week and the last several months, we all need something to laugh at and everything. Okay, Rocky. So this rivalry between Chico El Luchador and Chavo Guerrero, and you've got some sort of Matrix flavor to it. Explain a little bit.
So, I mean, obviously, the history between the Luchador family and the Guerrero family goes back, decades. I mean, we all know that professional wrestling history at its finest between these two. So, I mean, it's going to all be settled here once and for all. Now, traditionally, when you use the word death match in professional wrestling, it doesn't really exactly mean death. There might be some blood, there might be some guts, but not true death. But here on TalknShop Mania, the only place where somebody can actually die, and it'd be okay, and it'd be okay, for the sake of comedy. And somebody is going to die, whether it's Chico or Chavo or somebody else. You just have to tune in to find out. Friday, November 13th, 10 p.m. on the Fight app and in-demand pay-per-view. It all comes to a head.
Okay.
The Luchadors versus the Guerreros, Chico versus Chavo in the Lucha Libre death match.
Well, and speaking of death, when we left TalknShop Mania, we thought that was the end of the rivalry between Sex Ferguson and Chad Too Bad. But apparently there's going to be another chapter, something called a Ball for a Ball match.
That's right. I mean, you can bury Sex Ferguson alive, but he exists in a parallel universe known as Talkin' Shop. And he resurrects himself, and what better way to one-up Chad Too Bad finally than to put his ball sack on the line and to have Too Bad put his on the line as well. And the only way to be victorious is for one man to lose a scrotum. And that's exactly what's going to happen on pay-per-view November the 13th.
Oh, my God. Okay. As much as I'm laughing now, I can only imagine what we're going to see on Friday night the 13th. I mean, it's Friday the 13th, so what could go wrong, right?
Oh, it's going to be perfect. It's perfect timing.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Oh, my God. You can't wait. It's going to have all your favorites, all the biggest stars, all the biggest losers. I mean, you'll find out what a torturer is. All that Friday night, November 13th, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. Catch it on pay-per-view. Catch it on Fight TV, wherever you get your pay-per-views. All right, a couple other things. So, this show is called Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. We're part of a sports radio station, The Horn. We cover the Cowboys. We cover the Texas Longhorns. We do high school football in Texas. So, I've never asked you guys this. And, Rocky, I think I know your answer, but each of you, starting with Rocky, do you have a specific sport outside of pro wrestling or a team that you follow?
I don't follow it enough, but I like basketball.
Okay.
And I'm a Clippers fan, if that's what you're trying to bring.
Okay.
I'm not a Lakers fan, even though from LA. Just as a young man, we could only afford to go to Clippers games because they were pretty much free. So nobody was going to them. So that's how I kind of fell in love with the Clippers.
Okay.
And started to follow
the
underdog story of the Clippers.
Right, and the Clippers have gotten much better over the last couple of years, and they've been contending.
Absolutely.
Although the Lakers did win the title. All right, Doc, what about you?
Yes, they did.
Man, with everything we've had going on these last few years, I don't follow sports much at all. My son, I got a 13-year-old son who is bonkers about sports. He's playing 4 sports this year as things open back up, and for whatever reason, he's not a bandwagon kid. We live in Georgia, and he looked at the TV one day when he was about 5 years old and fell in love with the Seattle Seahawks. So it's all Seahawks around here during the NFL season.
Okay. Pete Carroll and the gang, Russell Wilson, not a bad team to follow. I'll give it that.
Not a bad team to follow, not at all.
That's right. Carl, what about you?
I lived in Cincinnati for a long time, and so I ended up being a big fan of the Bengals, where I did follow, and I do follow a lot. And they picked up one of their first win, or one of their first wins last week. But I mean, this is something I just moved to Tampa, so it's been cool now to follow the Buccaneers with Tom Brady here. And so, like, I'm a big fan of the NBA. I'm a LeBron fan, so I follow LeBron wherever he goes, just like I was a Michael Jordan fan. It's kind of that's just kind of the way it is. And I grew up in North Carolina, so I'm a fan of the Braves. So
okay, all right. Oh, you grew up in North Carolina, but you're a fan of the Braves. Okay,
I grew up in North Carolina. It was in Asheville, right? So the only baseball team that was close was the Atlanta Braves.
Right.
That was when they were in their hot run. They won the World Series when I was a kid, and so it was a big deal.
All right. I get that. Before I let you go, tell us about TalknShop Bourbon. I know, is it about to come out? Has it come out? Where can people get it? Just talk for a second about TalknShop Bourbon.
Well, everything that pertains to TalknShop, including our alcohol lines, which are in different stages of production and shipping laws and pandemic craziness, go to TNSmania.com. We're taking some bourbon orders right now over at TalknShopAds@gmail.com for the first batch. We just don't know the exact delivery date yet. What I can tell you is we came out with wine, and on that website, TNSmania.com, there are links to the Hoot Blood and the Hootette Sauvignon Blanc, which is the wives of the TalknShop boys have come out with. It's delicious. We all personally sampled it going into this. The Cabernet is better than anything that I've ever drank because I don't drink good wine. But now we have our own, so I do. And right now for the holiday season, it is free shipping anywhere in the United States when you buy a case or more. So I've got several cases headed my way because my discount ain't that great.
Okay. All right. TNSmania.com for all things TalknShop, including the wine. I should be, find that thing that you need for your holiday season. I might have to drop you a line and see if I can get a bottle of that bourbon. The Big LG, Doc Gallows, follow him on Twitter at @the_Big LG. Machine Gun Karl Anderson, follow him at Machine Gun KA. Rocky Romero, follow him at Azukar Rock. Guys, it is so good to talk to you. By the way, I have to clarify something because I remember you made a point of saying this last time. TalknShop Mania 2, do we watch it pantsless again?
Of course. You got to crack a beer, bourbon, or TalknShop wine, whatever you can get your hands on, whatever your poison is. Take off your pants and watch the hashtag worse than the first, second worst pay-per-view ever, TalknShop Mania 2, Friday, November the 13th, 10 p.m. Eastern, live on pay-per-view and on Fight TV.
And make sure you catch them on TalknShop, the podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, and follow that podcast on Twitter at TalknShop. Guys, as always, it is so much fun to talk to you guys. It brings a smile to my face every time. Good luck to all you guys. I hope worse than first turns out to be even worse than we can imagine it, and at the same time makes you guys all sorts of money. But until then, be safe, be well, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks for having us on, brother. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks, bro.